Good morning. All right. Well, Commander, Representative, Mr. Mayor, distinguished guests, and fellow Salinians, I haven't stood here since I was mayor, before most of you were born, a long time ago. We're gathered here to celebrate what Congress calls Memorial Day. Since its first official observation on May 5th, 1868, when it was called Decoration Day, it's been a day of remembrance for those who sacrificed and died in our nation's service. And while it was originally dedicated to honor Civil War soldiers, we know it today as a celebration in memory of all who have fought for and defended our right to freedom. Those of you who are my age will have to excuse me, but I want to talk today especially to the young people who are here. What are we doing here? Maybe you're just here because your parents dragged you along after the parade. Maybe you're here in the band to play these patriotic songs. Or maybe you're just standing here wondering when these old fogies are going to stop talking so I can get back to texting my friends, if you're not already doing that. Or to get on with that Memorial Day picnic for a juicy hot dog. Why are we standing here among all these dead people? And why do so many of these tombstones have flags on them? Well, part of the reason we're here is to remind us that the men and women who served and died in our military were real people, just like you and your family and your friends. Their service, especially in time of war, changed the lives of real people. My grandfather served in the Army during World War I. My father served in the Navy in World War II. And I served in the Army during the Vietnam era. My cousin, Art, was a little older than me when he went to Vietnam. He never came back. At the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, there are carved diamond shapes next to each of the names. When I first went to the memorial, there was only an outline of a diamond next to my cousin Art's name. That was because he was listed as MIA, missing in action. When I went back several years later, the rest of the diamond had been carved out. They never did find Art, or even his remains. He was officially just declared dead. Art was a real person, not just a name on a memorial wall. His parents said goodbye to him one day, and they never saw him or even his body again. These flags all around us represent real people. But there's another more important reason why we're here today. We are told that we are here to remember and give thanks to those who died during wartime. But what are we thanking them for? Some of you know that I spent almost 25 years as a judge. Throughout that time, I strongly believed and enforced what are called our civil liberties. Well, what do we mean by that? Liberties is just another word for freedoms. And civil in this context means citizen. In other words, these are the freedoms we get just by being Americans. You know what they are. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom from cruel and unusual punishment, freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures, the right to peaceably assemble like we're doing today, the right to a fair trial, and the list of our civil liberties, our freedoms, goes on. What was important for me, and is what is important for us to realize today, is that none of those liberties are free. We paid for those freedoms with the lives of men and women that we are memorializing today. Real people fought and real people died to establish those rights in the Revolutionary War, and real people fought and real people died to keep those rights during every war we've fought since that time. It wasn't a protester or a president who gave us free speech. It was the lives of young men and women. It wasn't a reporter or a blogger who gave us freedom of the press. It was somebody's father or son or daughter who died in a blood-stained uniform. It wasn't a lawyer or a judge who gave us the right to a fair trial. It was somebody's cousin who went away to war and never came back, and whose bones lie rotting in some overgrown jungle. Earlier this month, I stood at the American Cemetery, which overlooks the World War II D-Day beaches of Omaha and Utah and Normandy, France. After that single day on June 6, 1944, almost 2,000 dead American bodies were recovered. Another 1,500 American bodies were never found. Many of them had jumped out of their landing crafts into what was supposed to be waist-high water, only to have their heavy packs drag them down to a gasping, drowning death in bloody water that was way over their heads. Others were shot and killed in the turbulent ocean water without ever reaching the shore. All of their bodies were lost to the sea forever. As I stood there, I realized as I looked at the rows of white tombstones that I was born just 3 weeks after that day, and that everything that has happened to me since, and everything I have, especially my family, I owe to those men and women and the thousands of others who have died for us. President Obama put it this way: the fallen patriots we memorialize today gave their last full measure of devotion, not so we might mourn them, though we do, not so that our nation might honor their sacrifice, although it does. They gave their lives so that we might live ours, so that a daughter might grow up to pursue her dreams, so that a wife might be able to live a long life free and secure, so that a mother might raise her family in a land of peace and freedom. Everything we hold precious in this country was made possible by Americans who gave their all. So, young people, and perhaps older, please think about this for a few minutes today. You young people, you're only able to get an education, be with your family, enjoy your friends, play your instrument, text or tweet or Instagram on your smartphone, eat that juicy hot dog at the picnic, and do all the other things you enjoy, because these real people fought and died for you. The least we can do is thank them today. When someone dies, bells are often tolled, meaning rung, or perhaps taps is played to mark the death. The poet John Donne reminded us, "Never send to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee." So when you hear taps played today, thank those who died to give you your freedoms. The bell tolls, that bugle plays for you and for this sweet land of liberty. Thank you very much.